Lightning Dragon is the fourth dragon seen added into GoTWiC, and it's the first dragon in the form of a support dragon. Now, this serves a very different purpose to what we previously had with the first three dragons, which are now known as war dragons. These dragons can be deployed in combat. These dragons you can equip skills that only take effect when that specific dragon is participating in the fight. And that dragon's own stats, with its own damage, defense, agility, crit chance, and all that, will only come into effect when it is itself participating. Support dragons, however, serve as passive stats. You can see there in its tooltip in the left. Talent skills effects become active immediately after they are unlocked or upgraded. And you see here there's no skill tab that we can equip what we would typically know as dragon skills into these support dragons. Instead, they have their own system of providing passive stats instead. To unlock and upgrade the Lightning Dragon, you will need Lightning Essences. I will overlay now the full progression of how many Lightning Essences you will need to upgrade the Lightning Dragon at every single maturity stage from the very start to the very end. You'll see that a total of 900 essences will be required. The egg itself will cost 300 dragon marks in the Dragon Merchant. It disappears from the store when you already own it, so that's why it doesn't show here. And there will be two primary ways of sourcing lightning essences. One will be the VIP shop, found through benefits. There'll be a limit of 2 a day that you can buy for a total of 30 dragon marks. And the other primary way will be from All Out War, which at the time of recording is coming up very soon. Lightning Essences are embedded in pretty much all of its reward systems, as you can see there. So if you've been playing actively since the previous All Out War, you should probably have your Lightning Dragon maxed by now, if not definitely maxed during this upcoming All Out War event. And that sounds all well and good, but there is actually a hidden negative that comes attached with maxing your Lightning Dragon. So this interaction isn't stated anywhere on this dragon whatsoever. This is something you'll only learn from word of mouth, I guess, from what I'm doing quite literally right here. Typically, you'll be able to reset your Lightning Dragon's talents whenever you want down here in the bottom left. However, you can only do this once per maturity stage. So since my Lightning Dragon is maxed, and I've already reset its talents at this max maturity stage, I can now effectively, unless they change how this works, never change the talents here ever again. Which means, due to the nature of it having like specific troop type stats, you're really going to want to be careful with what you invest your talent points into to make sure that you don't regret your picks long term. Because say, for example, here, I have infantry health, infantry defense. If I decide at some point, a month down the line, everyone's running cav female, I can't run infantry anymore, I'm going to swap to spears, these will effectively be useless to me. So when you're picking your talents, you will realistically want to prioritize the more flexible picks. So you have here Dragon Power, which is actually Dragon Strength. The tooltip doesn't suggest as much, but it will show it here in an alt. You see here, Strength, 795,760 strength there. If I then increase the talent here, just by a couple, it goes all the way up to over 800,000 there. So the red talents will be Dragon Strength, and the blue talents will be Dragon Defense, which will reduce the damage dealt by enemy dragons. So these two will be your main priorities all the way up to this final tier. Then you'll want all the reductions probably, because they will have pretty much universal value, regardless of your frontline. Not in all cases, of course, but they'll have avenues into getting value more than a second or third line troop health would. You could maybe argue cutting bowman reduction, because it's not very prominent in the meta. There is an argument for that, and you can then pick potentially a different health. But when you have all the dragon stats, all the reductions done, you will then have at max 20 excess talents. So you will have to pick either between going all in on a troop type here like I did with health and defense, or you could potentially flex to 2 healths on a front line, just so you have a bit more flexibility if you do change between your front line a decent amount. But I would advise whatever you do, make sure you have every single dragon stat all the way down and all the reductions, since they will get the most universal value and therefore bypass the annoying practicalities of this talent reset system, which is just a part of the support dragon that we're going to have to uh, work around no matter what we decide to do with it. Another note, just to round this out, which I don't actually have a full table for, is this dragon will actually be very expensive in terms of food cost to fully upgrade, and you will want to fully upgrade him to 60 since the talent points are connected to his actual level, you see here. So even if you upgrade him to the final maturity here at going into 56, you will still have additional talent points, which you'll unlock going all the way up to level 60. So historically, grinding Dragon XP is never an issue for like mid-spender or low-spender players because it tends to be connected to the Sapphire Dragon with its exorbitant experience costs. If you've never got into the realms of very expensive dragon leveling, typically the best way will be to buy black bear meat through the Dragon Merchant. This will more often than not be the most efficient way to get it. Do not go through the VIP store or anything. There are, of course, ways to buy it with black diamonds and whatnot, but if you have excess dragon marks, then look to the Dragon Merchant and the black bear meat in there to round out your experience costs for the Lightning Dragon. And that is pretty much it. It's a fairly simplistic system, but the talent reset bit in particular, I do think players need to be aware of, because I do know of some people that have made the mistake of wanting to change their dragon around and just no longer being able to, and thinking this is a bug or something, which potentially it is, but it's been this way since the dragon was released, and I assume it's going to stay this way. So make sure when you get it to level 60, these stats you have locked into it, you're going to be happy with long term, because you are going to be stuck with them.